Okay, so I brought things indoors to do the instructional part of this tip of the day, because it was a little bit rough down there on the sea. So, tip of the day for today is to do with tension and posture. Now, as you've heard all the way through your Tai Chi training, posture is very, very important. So, you know, when we're in a stance or something, we don't want to be pushing the chest out, sticking the bum out. We want to try to get the body nice and flat and vertical in our stances, neck pulled in and so on. All the postural principles you've been taught. However, a lot of the time what I want to talk about here is how something in your leg can be affecting your posture. So if you've got bad posture, it's not necessarily the best thing to do to just think about the bit that's wrong. You've got to look down to where the cause is. So let's say, for example, a common thing for a lot of people to do is arch their chest forward, so they're pushing the chest out. This is tension in the upper back. So, okay, how do I fix that? Relax. Very simple, isn't it? It's not difficult to do that. It's not difficult to relax that. There's not a problem here necessarily. Sure, there might be a bit of excessive tension in your upper back, but that excessive tension is often caused by the fact that there's extreme tension down in your legs. And this is because of a weakness in your legs. So, let's take our qigong stance, for example. We sink down into the legs, deep into the stance. What happens is, after standing there for a few minutes, our legs get sore. So what do? There's two things that happen here. One is the tension in our legs causes tension in the rest of our body. And that's quite normal. If something tense happens around you, sometimes you tend to tense up. The thing that is around you, the energy that is around you, affects other parts of your body. So it's the same with your own system. If I've got tension here where there should be tension, that tension can often creep up into my chest or into my shoulders. See, there's no reason for my chest or upper back to be tense in this case. I can relax that. There's no reason for it to be tense. But it's just that the tension here is causing my body to go, oh, this is not nice, I don't like this. Oh, wait, why am I doing this? I'm actually making it more difficult for myself by tensing my upper back, lifting my chest. But there's another area by where it's a direct connection in that if you are, let's say, for example, you're coming into, I don't know, something like this where we come into stork spreads wings, for example, a one-legged stance, sinking into that posture. It's a very difficult stance to stand in. Now, anytime you go onto one leg, you're putting more pressure on that leg. You're getting more tension on that leg. So we try, as humans, to make things easier for ourselves, even if that means getting bad posture. So when we go into a one-legged stance, we'll sink into that one leg, we'll be okay whilst that toe is on the ground. As soon as the toe comes off the ground, the bum starts to kick out, or the chest starts to lift, for example. And this is because of a weakness in this thigh, in this, the quadricep area. So what I'm doing is, instead of sinking straight down and making this thigh go, that's difficult, I'm sticking my bum out a little bit, and that is alleviating that pressure and putting the pressure in other areas of the body. Of course, if you sat in that posture with your bum out the whole time, different muscles would start to get sore, of course. So you're getting different muscles working, but from a bad postural point of view. Those muscles which are working now in this bad posture, those muscles should be worked in a different type of movement. So, we want to always sink straight down vertically and maintain that pelvis tuck and chest hollowed, back relaxed in our stances. If you have a weak thigh, the tension here, as soon as you go one-legged, you'll arch your back, you'll stick your bum out instead of sinking completely and making that thigh burn. So if your thigh's burning, you need to make it burn more by sinking properly into that thigh. So what I'm trying to say is, instead of, when you go into, say, a one-legged posture and your teacher's going, oh, your bum's sticking out, don't go, oh, I've got to tuck my bum. Don't start thinking about tucking the pelvis under or sinking the chest. Just think, just sink down. It'll hurt. This is going to kill when you stand in that stance if you're not, if you're not at a high level of training yet. But that is the best way to get the posture correct by working from the base upwards. So, what's the best way to strengthen your legs for this type of strengthening exercise? No, not doing squats or, weighted squats or bench pressing with your legs. None of that kind of stuff. That's a totally different, I'm not saying that's bad, that's great exercise, but it's a totally different type of strength than what you're building in your taiji. The best thing you can do is, obviously, you can practice your taiji form correctly, but it's a lot more difficult. You've got so many other things to be focusing on, the coordination, the timing, the breathing, everything. So, qigong. Do your qigong. If you find it difficult to do, say 15 minutes of qigong, correct qigong I'm talking about, not standing up, not having breaks. If you find it difficult to do 15 minutes of correct standing qigong, and you think you can do your whole taiji form correctly, then you're probably not doing your form correctly. You'll be arching your back on one-legged stances, you'll be lifting up slightly on steps, things like that. So you really need to get back to basics, get right back into your standing qigong, make sure that you are sinking correctly, fully down into that stance. Most people stand here and they think that's how deep the stance should be. It shouldn't be, it should be right down. You've got to get that knee nicely down over the toe so that you get that full pelvis tuck. You'll build that strength in your legs. And then, when you come to your one-legged stances where that tension will creep up into your lower back and arch your bum out, you'll come into that lower stance and it'll just happen correctly because the strength is there to support the upper body. You shouldn't have to hold it in that position because you should have done your qigong training, which will develop the strength that will allow you to then practice your taiji form correctly with the correct sinking and the correct relaxation in the upper body. One step further than that, if you want to push yourself a little bit more, is of course to take your standing qigong like so and change that into a one-legged qigong with just 10% of weight in that leg. And then one step past that is to actually lift that leg just a fraction off the ground. Not up in the air, that's changing again the muscular structure in the body. We want to just lift the foot just an inch off the ground, but maintaining all that good stuff happening. It's better to do this one-legged qigong. First of all, it's better to do this to begin with, but then it's better to do this one-legged qigong with the left foot on the ground, which means that you're doing a slightly easier qigong correctly, rather than taking the foot off and then arching your back and wobbling and doing all sorts of bad stuff. So it's better to do a basic qigong correctly than to do an advanced qigong incorrectly. So always work yourself up. If you find that taking the foot off the ground is so difficult, you're not holding the right stance, put the foot back on the ground. You might even just like that, just toe stance. Just hold one little toe on the ground like that. Just for that little bit of control and balance whilst you're standing in that position. Okay, so that's the tip of the day for today. Back home in Malta. Enjoy.